Hello there. On a previous video, you've seen how to create or to add a checklist to one of your track days by creating a checklist based off of a template that's provided to you by Beyond the Track. And we've also seen how we can edit and fine-tune the checklist for that specific track day. And as you make changes to it, you can save it as a template to reuse in other track days that you create. So before we didn't have a way to manage these templates once they were created. Now we do. So let me show you how that works. We've added this checklists option up here on the menu, and I'll walk you through the main things we can look at. So if you haven't created a template yet, you're going to see this My Checklist Templates box empty. So let's pretend, like in this case, I don't have one. And I'll go ahead and also look at the BTT templates that are provided. I can view the existing template, right? We can see what it looks like, and I can clone the template to make it my own. I can either give it a different name or I can just keep the same name. It doesn't matter because this one is going to be my custom template. Go ahead and create that. We have the template created. Now from this point on, notice that the template is set as a default, so that anytime I create a new track day, it's going to default from this template here, the one that I'm fine-tuning. So let's say that I'm going to make some changes to it. Maybe I'll remove a bunch of groups here just so that we can easily see it's a custom template that I've created. Right, and you can add items to it like you've seen on the other video. You can create groups, rename the template, however you want to do it. If I go back to checklist here, right, now I see my track day preparation default template over here. I can also, from this one that I just created, I can go ahead and clone my own templates. And maybe I'll say that this one is going to be my race day preparation template, right? I could have made some changes to it. Maybe I'm gonna edit groups and add a new group, my new group. Oops, it helps when we type things, we spell things right. And I could add things here, like a new item here, whatever. Right, so that's a separate, different template, right? They all show up here. Say that I wanted, maybe I do more race days than track days, and then I want to make race day the default one. I just come up here, click set as default. Now this one is my default checklist as indicated here. All right, you can have as many checklist templates as you want or as you need. And then down here, what I see is the upcoming track days that I have on my profile. And I can set checklists directly on them. So there are two ways, right? So I can either go directly to the track day, and as I'm working with it, I can add a checklist to it, or I can come here in the checklist section and say, okay, for this one coming up here, I want to add a checklist. Now notice that here, the checklist template is already defaulting to my specific one. Of course, I can come here and change it to anything else. I'll go ahead and add it, right? So now I've added a checklist to that track day based off of that template. Of course, it still applies that I can come in here and say, oh, you know what? Here, I don't need these first two items, right? And here I don't need maybe this one item, and I need a new, different item. Doesn't matter, right? So you make it specific to that track day. Going back over here to the checklists page, now you see that this first track day now do have a track day, right? I can click on there, right, and see it, and then maybe run the checklist, or I can keep adding different checklists. And finally, another thing that's often, at least I like doing, is going back to a past track day, and maybe I want to say, oh, you know what, let me check the checklist that I've used at NOLA, because I want to create a template based off of that one, right? So I can easily go to that checklist and then save it as a template, right? So I can say, okay, that one I want to save it as my NOLA prep template, right? So now next time I go to NOLA, I have a template that I can use to create for that track day. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Oh, and by the way, of course, as you go back to checklist, if you decide, you know what, this one, I don't want to use it anymore, you can just easily come in here and say, just, hit remove templates, and it's going to go away from your list. So that should give you the, better tools to manage your templates from here on.